Hello, we're going to be taking a look at an inheritance example for Unit 8 in our AP Java, and this one's going to include a bank account. The first thing that we are going to do is think about the inheritance. So bank account is going to become my parent class, and then savings account and a checking account are going to become child classes. It's always a good idea to try the ISA test to make sure that our hierarchy makes sense. And so if I try it, a savings account is a bank account, a checking account is a bank account. That makes sense for our hierarchy. We are going to start with a pretty bare bones bank account class. And this is a class diagram. There's more information in our class folder about the class diagrams if you need that. We have one instance field. It's a minus, so that means it is private, and it's a double data type, and we have three methods, and they are all public because of the plus sign. I know that here. We are going to implement this class, and then we are going to add to it a checking account or a savings account. I'll probably start with the savings account because that's a little bit less coding to start with. But this is going to be our goal. So this is a hierarchy chart you can see with the class diagrams. It illustrates the superclass and then the subclasses. One thing I will designate over here on the right hand side or look at is notice that the deposit and withdrawal methods here have the same signature as deposit and withdrawal in the superclass. And what that means then is the checking account has some special extra things it needs to test for. For example, if I would try to withdraw money and I don't have enough money in the checking account, then I will get an overdraft, and that's where the bank fees are going to come in. They're going to charge me extra money for that. And that is different than just a regular plain Jane get balance method. Okay? And while we are also working on these examples, we are going to look into what's called JUnit testing. And JUnit testing is a way to design and build stable classes. It's used in industry quite a bit, and so you should become familiar with it. And if you design your tests well, you can also cut down on testing and debugging time when writing code. So we're going to jump over to Eclipse here. And I have some of the code pre-written and we'll be just talking through it. Other parts of the code we will be writing some code for. Okay, this is the bank account class that we had talked about setting up. We have one private instance field, that is balance. We have a default no argument constructor here. This is called a default no args constructor. And I will talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but that's what we use when we do some of our JUnit testing. We have a parameterized constructor that brings in the initial amount when we create a bank account. And we have just a deposit and a withdrawal method and a get balance method. I did not create a set balance method because that's basically what we do when we bring in the initial amount is we set that initial balance, and then everything is controlled through the deposit and the withdrawal. So I didn't feel like I needed a set balance method in this particular case. Now, normally we want to test to see if this code is working, and so we create what is called a driver program, and I have already created a bank tester. And the bank tester class here is the one that includes main, so we know that that's going to be executing. I'm using depositing $1,000 to start with, and I just printed out or have some code that's going to test some of the different methods, deposit, withdrawal, and then we're going to output what those balances are. Let me close this to give me a little bit more screen space and open up my console here on the right hand side. And if I run this code, it's going to produce the original balance was 1,000. I deposited 1,000, and so that's 2,000, and then I made a withdrawal of 500, so now I'm left with 1,500. So it looks like our bank account is working successfully. So that sets up the base class. I'm going to try to make these videos a little bit shorter so you can come back and look at them from time to time. So I'm going to quit this video here. That just sets up our superclass, and it does a little bit of testing with that superclass. Next, we are going to take a look at doing a unit test for this class, and then we're also going to look at creating the subclasses.